Zeno of Citium, 334 to 262. Stoicism is a classical philosophical school that emerged in Greece in the 3rd century BCE and later spread to Rome. The philosophy of Stoicism emphasizes self-control, resilience, and tranquility in the face of adversity, which leads to happiness and peace of mind. Zeno of Citium is the founder of Stoicism, but his life and philosophy are filled with fascinating stories, many of which reflect irony, wisdom, and depth. Below are 10 notable stories about him. The fateful encounter with philosophy. The story of Zeno's fateful encounter with philosophy begins with a major event in his life. Born into a wealthy merchant family in Citium, now Larnaca, Cyprus, Zeno followed the family tradition and became a trader. He frequently undertook long-distance trading voyages and amassed considerable wealth. However, fate would change Zeno's life unexpectedly. One day, during a journey to Athens, Zeno's trading ship encountered a severe storm and sank. All the wealth he had on the ship was lost. While such a loss might have driven others into despair, for Zeno, it opened a new door. After arriving in Athens with nothing, Zeno did not attempt to rebuild his trading career as one might expect. Instead, he entered a bookstore and came across Xenophon's Memorabilia, a work about Socrates, the great philosopher of ancient Greece. As Zeno read Socrates' teachings, he felt a strong resonance between the principles Socrates espoused and his own inner thoughts. Stories of equanimity in the face of adversity and how Socrates remained unshaken by fate and power led Zeno to realize that happiness did not stem from material wealth, but from inner control and harmony with reason. After finishing the book, Zeno asked the bookstore owner, "Where can I find a man like Socrates?" The owner directed him to Crates, a philosopher from the Cynicism school, and thus began Zeno's philosophical journey. He became a student of Crates and later studied with other philosophers before developing and founding his own Stoic school. Zeno often recounted the shipwreck story with optimism and acceptance of fate. He would say, "That is how fate led me to philosophy," emphasizing that material loss was actually an opportunity for him to discover a higher value in life, inner peace and mental freedom in the face of any circumstance. This story not only marks Zeno's entry into philosophy, but also reflects the core of Stoicism, which he would later develop, transforming adversity into opportunity and focusing on controlling what is within one's power. 2. Learning philosophy through a bookstore. After losing all his wealth in the shipwreck, Zeno not only found solace in philosophy, but also became determined to find a true teacher to study under. After reading Xenophon's Memorabilia, a work about Socrates, Zeno felt deeply drawn to Socrates' ideas and wanted to delve further into philosophy. He asked the bookstore owner, "Where can I find a man like Socrates?" The bookstore owner directed him to Crates of Thebes, a famous philosopher from the Cynicism school. Cynicism emphasized a frugal life, rejecting material wealth and traditional values, focusing instead on simplicity, living close to nature, and mastering one's emotions, ideas that resonated with Zeno after the upheaval in his life. Zeno quickly sought out Crates and became his student. However, at the beginning of his studies, Zeno encountered many difficulties. Cynicism had strict principles of simplicity and rejection of material goods, which made Zeno initially feel awkward and uncomfortable. He came from a wealthy background and was used to a life of abundance, but now he had to learn not just intellectually, but in his daily life, to renounce those things. One memorable story during Zeno's time with Crates was when Crates deliberately put Zeno in an embarrassing situation to help him overcome unnecessary notions of honor and pride. On one occasion, Crates tore Zeno's cloak in public, causing him great embarrassment. Crates did this to teach Zeno that things like reputation, appearance, or the judgment of others should not disturb the spirit of someone pursuing philosophy. Zeno gradually absorbed this lesson and became more steadfast in his study of Cynic philosophy. He internalized Crate's principles of self-control, independence, and renunciation of unnecessary things. At the same time, Zeno began developing his own ideas. Later, Zeno would move away from cynicism and establish Stoicism, integrating principles from various philosophers while maintaining the spirit of independence and simplicity he learned from Crates. The encounter with Crates in the bookstore and the subsequent experiences under his mentorship were a major turning point that helped Zeno build the foundation for the development of his own philosophical system. 3. The torn cloak and patience. During Zeno's time as a student of Crates, he faced significant challenges in adapting to the austere lifestyle demanded by the Cynicism school. Crates' philosophy emphasized not only mental self-control, but also a renunciation of material and societal values, such as reputation, appearance, and others' judgment. This was a major challenge for Zeno, who came from a wealthy background where appearance and luxury played important roles. Zeno often felt awkward and ashamed when trying to adhere to Crates' strict and frugal way of life. He had not yet completely freed himself from caring about how others perceived him, and was still bound by societal standards of appearance and respect. Crates, seeing this in Zeno, decided to teach him a special lesson to help him overcome this fear. On one occasion, in the middle of a crowd in Athens, Crates unexpectedly tore Zeno's cloak, leaving him in an extremely embarrassing situation. Zeno, confused and humiliated under the gaze of onlookers, did not know how to react. But this was precisely what Crates wanted him to experience. That shame and embarrassment stem from placing too much importance on outward appearance and how others judge us. Crates wanted Zeno to understand that a person's value does not lie in external things like clothing, possessions, or reputation, but in their inner self and their ability to control their emotions. Only when one can let go of the fear of being judged by others can they achieve true mental freedom. After this incident, Zeno gradually learned to care less about external judgments and began focusing on nurturing his mind and self-control. The lesson from the torn cloak became a pivotal moment in Zeno's journey, helping him move closer to the calmness and indifference to superficial values that are central to Stoicism. The torn cloak was not just a lesson in patience and renunciation, but also a symbol of overcoming social barriers to live in line with the Stoic spirit that Zeno would later develop and propagate. Philosophy in the colonnade. Zeno of Citium was a pioneer in bringing philosophy out of the exclusive, luxurious circles and into the everyday life of common people. Instead of teaching in grand academies or lecture halls for the elite, he chose a public space to spread his philosophy. The place where Zeno taught was the Stoa Poikile, painted porch, an open area in the center of Athens. Stoa Poikile was a colonnade decorated with famous paintings depicting historic Greek battles. It was a cultural and commercial hub where the citizens of Athens often gathered to discuss, trade, and interact. Here, amidst the vibrant daily life, Zeno chose to teach his philosophy, where anyone, regardless of background or social status, could stop and listen. Zeno's public teaching style reflected the essence of Stoic philosophy: simplicity, practicality, and accessibility to all social classes. He wanted philosophy not to be an esoteric subject reserved for scholars, but a tool that anyone from politicians to laborers could apply in their daily lives to find tranquility and self-control. The Stoic school later derived its name, Stoicism, from the Greek word stoa, meaning porch. This symbolized the philosophy Zeno developed, a philosophy not tied to power, wealth, or luxury, but one built on steadfastness and resilience, much like the strong columns of the porch standing amidst the open space. Zeno's choice of the Stoa Poikile also emphasized that philosophy did not belong to any privileged group, but was a gift for all. Zeno's philosophy at the Stoicopoicola emphasized self-control and equanimity in the face of life's ups and downs, as well as the importance of living in harmony with nature and reason. He believed that people should face difficulties and adversity with courage and calm, rather than seeking comfort or fleeting material pleasures. By teaching in a public colonnade, Zeno created an open learning environment where anyone passing by could stop, listen, and engage in discussions about life, ethics, and philosophy. This helped Stoicism spread throughout Athens and was embraced by people from different social strata. Zeno not only took philosophy out of elite circles, but made it a part of daily life for thousands of Athenians. A lesson in self-control from another teacher. One of the significant stories in Zeno's learning journey involves an exchange between him and the philosopher Stilpo, who was known for his deep insights on ethics and self-control. Zeno, eager to delve deeper into the philosophy of self-mastery, sought Stilpo's wisdom. One day, Zeno asked Stilpo about how to maintain self-control in life, especially in challenging or tempting situations. Instead of giving a direct answer, Stilpo posed a thought-provoking question. Would you lose self-control if a beautiful woman walked by? This unexpected and profound question was designed to make Zeno reflect on human capacity to face life's temptations. Stilpo wanted Zeno to understand that maintaining self-control is not merely a theoretical exercise, but a daily challenge in real-life situations. This question had a powerful impact on Zeno, making him ponder the ability to control human emotions and desires in response to external stimuli. Zeno realized that self-mastery and the ability to govern oneself were central to the Stoic philosophy he was pursuing. To truly master life and achieve inner peace, one must learn to overcome all temptations and not allow external factors to disturb the mind. The lesson from Stilpo helped Zeno recognize that self-control is not just about resisting material temptations or immediate needs, but about maintaining a firm spirit, unaffected by fleeting emotions or desires. He understood that true freedom lies in controlling one's thoughts and actions rather than being led by uncontrollable external forces. From this exchange, Zeno further solidified his philosophy of inner control and emotional mastery. For him, the ability to remain calm and composed in the face of temptation became a mark of a virtuous person and one who lives in harmony with nature. This lesson became a fundamental pillar of the Stoic philosophy that Zeno later developed, teaching people how to confront life's challenges without being overwhelmed by them. The story between Zeno and Stilpo demonstrates how philosophy is not just a theoretical discourse, but a living practice that helps people face life with calmness and self-mastery in any situation. Data 6. Voluntary poverty. Zeno, despite being born into a wealthy merchant family, experienced a profound transformation in his outlook on life after losing all his wealth in a shipwreck. Instead of falling into despair or trying to rebuild his riches, he chose a completely different path. A life of simplicity and voluntary renunciation of material values. This deeply reflected his philosophy of self-mastery and detachment from external things. Once, Zeno's friends, still attached to luxurious and affluent lifestyles, mocked him for his austere and modest way of living. They thought Zeno, who had once lived in wealth, was now living a life of poverty and misery. However, Zeno was neither embarrassed nor offended. Instead, he smiled and said to his friends, "I feel rich because I have lost nothing of what I truly need." This statement is a clear reflection of the Stoic philosophy that Zeno developed and spread. For him, true wealth did not lie in the amount of possessions one owned, but in the ability to live freely and independently from unnecessary things. He believed that if we do not depend on material things, we will never worry about losing them. By voluntarily giving up attachment to wealth and superficial social values, Zeno achieved a sense of inner peace and spiritual freedom that no one could take from him. Zeno did not view poverty as a burden, but as liberation from the shackles of materialism. He lived with a Stoic spirit, keeping only what was necessary and rejecting everything that was unimportant. For him, true prosperity did not come from wealth, but from serenity, free from dependence on the external world. This enabled him to live a peaceful life, even if outwardly it appeared modest. The story of Zeno's voluntary poverty is not only a testament to his determination and calmness in the face of life's changes, but also a profound lesson about defining the true value of life. Zeno showed that one can be spiritually rich even without much material wealth, as long as they can let go of the unnecessary and focus on inner freedom. Rejecting glory and wealth. As Zeno became famous in Athens due to his philosophy and teachings, he quickly gained respect from the people and the city's authorities. The citizens of Athens, recognizing Zeno's influence and contributions, wanted to honor him with high titles and special privileges, including wealth and noble status, as a way of expressing their gratitude and respect. However, Zeno, with his simple lifestyle and Stoic philosophy, declined all these offers of rewards and prestigious positions. He did not seek fame, wealth, or adulation from society. For him, true happiness and fulfillment did not come from wealth, power, or reputation, but from inner peace and equanimity in the face of life's uncertainties. Zeno emphasized that anything external, such as social status or material wealth, had no lasting value, and those who pursued them would easily be caught in a cycle of anxiety and insecurity. He believed that only by mastering one's thoughts and emotions, without letting external things influence them, could one attain true joy. The Stoic philosophy that Zeno developed encouraged people to live a simple life, focusing on spiritual values and moral virtues rather than chasing after superficial material goals. By rejecting the gifts from the people of Athens, Zeno not only demonstrated his steadfastness in adhering to his philosophy, but also delivered a powerful message about spiritual freedom. True happiness comes from not being dependent on fame or wealth. Zeno lived according to the principles he taught. Even when he had the opportunity to gain what many people desired, power, status, and wealth, he remained firm in his choice of a simple, peaceful life. This not only made him a model of Stoic philosophy, but also provided a vivid lesson about the value of renunciation and self-control. Zeno's rejection of glory and wealth serves as a clear example of how one can find peace and contentment even in the simplest of circumstances, as long as they know how to resist external temptations and focus on cultivating inner growth. Shruta 8. Zeno's response to the lazy man. One day, a lazy man approached Zeno to ask how he could become wise without effort. Zeno replied, "If you want to pick fruit without caring for the tree, you will only find it in your dreams." This serves as a reminder that wisdom comes only from discipline and hard work. The story of Zeno's reply to the lazy man profoundly illustrates Stoic philosophy, where wisdom cannot be attained without effort and discipline. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, established principles of ethics and philosophy centered around self-control, patience, and striving in all areas of life. In this story, a lazy man approached Zeno, hoping to find an easy way to attain wisdom without hard work or facing difficulties. This mirrors how many people desire achievements without enduring the arduous process. The man hoped to discover a shortcut to wisdom, but Zeno's response was deeply meaningful. He stated, "If you want to pick fruit without caring for the tree, you will only find it in your dreams." Zeno's answer is not merely a refusal, but a profound lesson. The imagery of picking fruit without caring for the tree symbolizes the desire to reap rewards without putting in effort and patience. The phrase "only found in dreams" implies that such a desire is unrealistic and can exist only in imagination, never becoming reality. Through this response, Zeno reminds us that wisdom and success are not easily or immediately achieved. They come from persistence, relentless effort, and a commitment to discipline. Stoicism emphasizes enduring and overcoming difficulties. And this advice from Zeno reflects a core philosophy. Wisdom and virtue can only be attained through labor and self-improvement. This story continues to serve as a wake-up call regarding the importance of hard work and patience in achieving personal and spiritual development, a notion that remains highly relevant in the modern world. Advice for the hot-tempered. A hot-tempered man came to Zeno seeking advice on how to control his anger. Zeno remained silent and simply looked at him. When the man asked, "Do you have nothing to say to me?" Zeno replied, "I have already spoken. My silence is a lesson for you," as anger is often nourished by unnecessary words. The story of Zeno's advice to the hot-tempered man beautifully illustrates how the Stoic philosopher conveyed wisdom not only through words, but also through action and silence. With his profound understanding of human nature, Zeno employed a unique method to teach others how to control their emotions. In this story, a man known for his temper approached Zeno, hoping to receive guidance on managing his anger. Anger is a powerful emotion that is often difficult to control, and this man sought a solution from Zeno. Rather than responding immediately or offering conventional advice, Zeno chose to remain silent and simply look at the man. Zeno's silence left the man confused and uncomfortable, prompting him to ask, "Do you have nothing to say to me?" At that moment, Zeno provided his answer, "I have already spoken. My silence is a lesson for you," as anger is often nourished by unnecessary words. This response holds multiple layers of meaning. Zeno not only taught the man about the value of restraint, but also about silence and self-control. Through his silence, Zeno demonstrated that anger often arises from provocation by unnecessary words and responses. Superfluous words, arguments, and confrontations can escalate anger rather than soothe it. By remaining silent, Zeno helped the man realize that calmness and choosing not to speak can be the most powerful tools in controlling anger. When we do not react immediately, we have time to think and assess the situation more calmly, rather than letting anger dictate our actions. This lesson aligns with Stoic philosophy, which regards self-control and calmness as noble qualities. Stoicism not only promotes emotional regulation, but also emphasizes the importance of not allowing external factors to influence inner peace. Silence and restraint are essential elements in achieving this state. Zeno's advice remains valuable across time, reminding us that controlling anger is not just about suppressing emotions, but also about learning to remain silent and not react unnecessarily. 10. Peaceful death. As Zeno grew old, he accidentally fell and broke a toe. Instead of seeking treatment, he calmly remarked, "I have been summoned," and voluntarily ended his life by fasting. Zeno believed that when the body no longer serves the soul well, it is time to liberate the soul. Zeno of Citium was not only a brilliant philosopher, but also someone who lived according to his philosophy. These stories exemplify how he applied Stoic principles to real life, inspiring many generations afterward. The story of Zeno's peaceful death is a profound testament to how he lived and died according to the Stoic philosophy he developed and promoted. It reflects his calm acceptance of death, viewing it as a natural part of life. As Zeno aged, his health significantly deteriorated. One day, he accidentally fell and broke a toe, an event that seemed trivial. However, rather than seeking treatment or striving to continue living, Zeno regarded this incident as a sign from nature that his life was nearing its end. He calmly stated, "I have been summoned," demonstrating a deep belief that it was time for him to let go of life. Rather than struggling against old age and the decline of his body, Zeno voluntarily ended his life by fasting, concluding his existence peacefully and willingly. For him, when the body was no longer strong enough to serve the soul, it was the right moment for the soul to be liberated and depart from the body. Zeno's actions reflect a fundamental Stoic principle. Humans should not fear death, but should view it as a natural and inevitable part of life. In Stoic philosophy, death is not something to be mourned or feared. It is a natural transition. What matters more is how individuals live their lives with virtue and wisdom. Zeno's story also exemplifies his courage and tranquility in facing what most people often fear. He lived and died according to the Stoic principles he taught, not clinging blindly to life, accepting fate with serenity, and not fearing what cannot be changed. Zeno's peaceful death has become an exemplary model for many generations about how a Stoic should live and confront the end of life. It also inspires philosophical thoughts on self-control, patience, and acceptance of fate, values that Zeno pursued throughout his life. Zeno of Citium was not just an outstanding philosopher, but also a living example of deeply and consistently applying Stoic philosophy. Through these 10 stories from his life, from a fateful encounter with philosophy to insightful lessons on self-control and peaceful death, Zeno demonstrated that philosophy is not merely theory, but a way of living. The principles he taught, self-control, acceptance of fate, and emotional regulation, form a path for a simple and steadfast life. Zeno's life is a vivid testament to Stoic philosophy, and the lessons derived from him continue to inspire for centuries, reminding us that wisdom and inner peace do not come from wealth or status, but from self-regulation and one's attitude towards life.